Okay, where do I start with this one? All right, so tonight was a non-conference game, and honestly, this game really didn't matter because it's not going to really affect us in any ways. Besides, maybe the analysts beefing up the Rams more than what they already are. But the Rams did win by 3 points. I still think they're overrated, and I'll explain why. I'll explain why. Uh, the refs kind of got out of the way in the second half of this football game, but they completely butchered the first half of this game. Okay, now the reasoning behind this is because 79 was moving all night before the ball was snapped. I mean, every snap this guy was moving before the ball was even snapped. They never once called him for false start. And not only that, there was a play where Jared Goff ran one in from like 10 yards out. He was off at the beginning. He false started, and then he began to put D Ford in a chokehold because he got beat. They didn't call him for holding or false start. I heard a buddy throw this up there, and it's true. No matter what level of football, you have to be set as a lineman for a whole second before you can snap the ball. This guy was never set all night. Some of those calls were true. Some of those calls that came against Kansas City, they were true. They happened. But I knew for a fact these refs were trying to throw the game when Pat Mahomes, obviously his hand went forward, and they tried to call it a fumble before it got reviewed. And then there was another one near the end zone where they threw a ball that got tipped and they called pass interference. And they had to review that one to get the call right on that. If this is the best the NFL has, the playoffs is going to be a scary world, man. It's going to be a scary world. Probably the biggest crap call that I seen go against the Rams was probably when Demetrius Harris hit head-to-head with that kid and they called it on Los Angeles. That one was bullcrap. That shouldn't have been called. But these refs in the first half, man, like what's up with what's up with winking at Jared Goff when he's bad-mouthing Andy Reid? Like, what's up with that? Why? What do you think you're going to accomplish by doing that? If you're the NFL finest, why are you so lackluster on your rules? Why are you so, I don't get it. Like I said, there was penalties that did happen, and it should have went against us. But it just felt like they was trying to throw the game for the entire first half with all the crap that was going on and all the crap that they let go. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give my credit to Aaron Donald because he played his ass off. Sam Ubakam, or however you say his name, Samson, number 50. And partially Jared Goff because he played pretty decent. Todd Gurley didn't do crap all night. The receivers were okay, I guess. We was up by 4 and Orlando Scandrick dropped an interception. So that kind of blew our chances. I know a lot of people are going to give Marcus Peters the credit. He got fried on that coverage. Pat Mahomes was stepping back to launch that sucker all the way over his head where his guy was, about 10 yards down the field. And Samson just so happened to hit his arm, and guess where Marcus Peters was? Marcus Peters was right there in the wrong spot and just so happened to be where the ball went. Marcus Peters got dominated by Travis Kelce all night. I don't know why they decided to stick him on Travis. That didn't make any sense. But it is what it is. We're going into the bye week 9-2. I'm sure the analysts are just going to, hype up the Rams unbelievably. They're the best team in football now. But the first half of this game was just, oh my God, it was horrible. I mean, it was still tied at halftime. And regardless of us losing, I still think it was a really good game, and I'm glad I've seen the highest scoring game in the NFL. Or not the NFL, but the highest scoring game on Monday Night Football. The highest scoring game is 113 points total. But at the end of at the end of all of this, what, like the Jordan Lucas block in the back. He stuck his arm out, and the guy dove for the ball, and they called it a block in the back. Travis Kelce dropped a key third down at the end of the game that could have got us a first down. This was before. That was before we had to try to go on the game-winning drive, which Mahomes was hitting the arm. Ball came out. But overall, it was what everybody said it was going to be. It was a complete shootout. I honestly think if we played the Rams again, it would be a different outcome. I mean, sure, the Rams won the game. I mean, congrats, man, but dude, I bet you I could go and rewatch that game and watch 79 every single play, and I could pick out every other play when he was screwing up or committing a foul, and none of it was called. I don't think 79 got a penalty the entire night, and this guy was hooking people, headlocking people. It was kind of like Denver. When was that? When we won that crazy ass field goal in overtime where we banked it off the upright and it went in. And we won that game in overtime. There was a kid for Denver doing the same exact thing, man. He wasn't moving early like this kid was, but he was headlocking people, hooking people. If he got beat, he'd just push him in the back, and they never called this guy for anything. So, whatever, I mean, if you look at the boards across it, let's see. Patrick Mahomes, he threw one pick because he got hit. He threw another one because he was trying to heave it downfield in the last seconds of the game. That's kind of a garbage interception. I want to say was there another one that got picked off? I think there was 3. I can't remember the third one. Oh yeah, the third one. Yeah, the lineman jumped up, tipped it, and he, once again, Samson. Or maybe it was number 90. Maybe that was 90. I can't remember, but I think 90 may have. Either way, he ran that one in. And Marcus Peters was down there, basically throat punching oh God. He was basically throat punching Patrick. Nothing was ever said about that. They just kind of pulled him off and went both ways. I mean, it doesn't matter. It still would have been a touchdown. So I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying get the dude off our quarterback. But this game, basically, the Rams committed turnovers. Oh, yeah, they committed turnovers. God, they had 2 fumbles themselves. Mahomes had 2 fumbles, both caused by Darnold. And did he throw a pick? I want to say he threw a pick, too. No, he didn't throw a pick. He should have. Orlando Scandrick went up for a hell of an interception at the end of the game, and I don't know, hit his hands and he couldn't hang on to it. That would have sealed it. No, that was just with 2 minutes left. Then the Rams scored. That tight end beat Dirty Dan off the end, and he caught one and ran it in there at the end of the game, and that's when we started our last drive. And that's when Mahomes got hit in the arm by 50, and the ball just kind of sailed up. I guess you could sit here and make ifs, ands, and buts all day. Like if Kelce would have caught that third down, the Rams never would have got the ball back. If Orlando Scandrick would have picked it off, that would have sealed it. If Samson didn't make the play that he did there at the end, that had 6 points written all over it. The safety wasn't anywhere near. I couldn't tell if it was Hill or Kelce down there, but he wasn't anywhere near him. He was 10 yards away from him, and Marcus Peters got absolutely fried. He just took the flats because he got beat right off. He got beat, and he kind of threw up a hand signal for the safety to go back there. By the time that was too late, Pat stepped up to launch it, and that's when 50 hit him in the arm. Even though Peters was out of place, he was in the right place for the tip ball, or the he was in the right place for when the ball got popped up into the air. So, as I said, I just want an explanation for why, the 79 could move almost every play before the ball was even snapped and not get penalized for it. And, just to top that off, the hooking hold, I want to know what was up with that, because that cost us 7 points. It was man coverage, and D Ford got back there, and you just see 79 hook him and ride him all the way past the ball. Demarcus Robinson, there was a key third down where he went across the middle, and the dude tackled him before the ball even got there. That was never called. Like I said, there was calls that went both ways. The Rams had, I'm sure, at least 2 of them that, shouldn't have went that way, but they did. Like I said, the unsportsmanlike head-to-head, that was kind of a crap call. But, I mean, here's what I can say. The New England Patriots, they straight up beat us. They outplayed us. It was a clean game. The refs let us play. We had our fair share of penalties. They had theirs. They just straight up beat us. This game, I think we shot ourselves in the foot more than anything else. One of those fumbles, we definitely should have recovered, but the lineman tried to pick it up for some reason and run with it, and it just popped out of his hands, scooted across the ground, and a ram jumped on it. But like I said, I'm giving my credit to this Samson guy, Aaron Donald, whatever his name is, which I knew he was going to play good. That was the number one key, was to stop Aaron Donald. And they did when we was getting called for everything in the first half. And, the Rams were perfect, couldn't do any good, or couldn't do any bad. And then it's like in the second half, he just tore us apart. But, if it wasn't for Andy Reid challenging 2 of those calls, this game would have went haywire real quick. Because they were obviously shit calls that were trying to go the other way. But it is what it is. You can't play yourself, the Rams, and the refs all at the same time. It's just not possible. I'm not saying the Rams are the worst team in the league. I think they're definitely overrated. But, I'll give them credit where it's due. They're definitely a good football team. I still don't, they're still obviously not the best in the league. I still think the Patriots would beat them. I still think the Saints would beat them. But, it is what it is. I'm not too worried about playing them again because they got the Saints in the playoffs if they play them, and Saints will bowl them over. But, it's, like I said, it's anecdotal. It really doesn't mess with us that much. It sends us to 6-2 as a non-conference loss. Like I said, the only thing it does, it gives the analysts more reason to talk about the Rams more than it does us. Who really cares? It was, like I said, it was really haywire in the first half. Some of the calls were good. Some of them were just absolute batshit. Like, there's no way they should have even been called. And then there were some of them that were completely missed. And every game you got those back and forth, but, it is what it is. It's on to the next one, I guess. We got the bye week next week. Big deal was the Chargers lost this week. And they lost to Denver, so that puts them in a massive hole against us. That really puts their division hopes in a hole. So Denver kind of got them off our tail. What does this do for the AFC? Well, we own the tiebreaker against Pittsburgh, so we're still going to be the number 1 AFC seed. Pittsburgh, they're still going to be the number 2 seed. New England's got that 3rd loss. But New England owns the tiebreaker against us, so we can't really afford to lose a 3rd game. But overall, I mean, man, you want to crown the Rams, go right on ahead. But because they won. I ain't gonna deny it. They can't cover it up. They won, and it is what it is. But at the same time, I feel like there's some things, man, that really hindered that game. But like I said, it is what it is under the water. Who cares? I would have rather beat the Patriots than the Rams, but that's just me. The playoffs are a whole different world. But that's all I'm gonna say. If the NFL, if Roger Goodell, if this is the best officiating you got, the playoffs are going to be a lost cause this year, man. If you stick those guys in at referee, we're talking about New England possibly getting screwed, Pittsburgh possibly getting screwed. If they ref like that, I mean, there's obvious calls that there's guys I don't even know that weren't even Chiefs fans, and they were sitting there talking about, hey, isn't that holding? Hey, you see that guy hold? What about this play? What about the guy that keeps jumping early? I've never really seen a guy commit 2 fouls on one play and get away with both of them. And it being a scoring play, too. And it putting 7 points on the board. But, like I said, bygones be bygones. The Rams won. Whatever. Call them whatever you want. You call them a better team, whatever. But if you want to crown them, crown them. If that's the best officiating, give us the refs from Cleveland, man. Don't give us this garbage. Give us the refs from New England, that New England game. I thought they did a fine job that game. We lost that game too. But this game, that whole first half, man, they should have just let them play. Let them play. And they did. They did sometimes. But there was obvious calls where if Andy Reid just, wouldn't have challenged it, dude, the Rams would have blew us out. Because of crappy calls like the tip ball pass interference, the Mahomes' arm going completely forward and being tipped, and hey, the Rams running in, so it must be a touchdown. Just like that's Bush League, man. That's mediocre. If you got a coach that has to challenge 2 calls in one game to tell you, hey, you screwed up, then there's a problem there. But as I said, whatever. Let the Rams go do whatever. It is what it is. We'll see what happens, here from the rest of the season. But would have been a nice game to win. But we'll let them have their moment until they get smoked in the playoffs and, by the Saints or whoever, makes it. I'm not too worried about them. They got beaten a wild card last year because they had to go play in the cold. To me, this game proves that Todd Gurley can be stopped. He didn't really do anything the whole game. So, personally, in my opinion, if you stop Todd Gurley, you stop them. Our team's known for penalties, so I'm not, entirely surprised that we had a crap load of them. But, Aaron Donald and this Ubakam kid, Abukum, however you say his name, they played their ass end off and they made it count. Their defensive plays definitely made it count. So, like I said, Orlando Scandrick hangs on to that ball. We're sitting here talking about a whole different game, 51-47. But he didn't. So here we are. So that's about all I got to say about this one. We'll probably do the week 3 recap after this. So congratulations, Rams. Have your moment, man. Have your moment. Can't deny it. You guys won it regardless of what happened or whatever. I still think your defensive line played pretty good. I think Jared Goff played pretty decent for what he had, being the offense was a walking Band-Aid. Todd Gurley didn't do anything, so I'm not giving him any credit because he didn't do anything. But Jared Goff surprised me. He looked like he was going to choke there near the end, but he didn't. He hung in there and he still played the game. He took a couple hard hits. So, like I said, shout out to Abukum, Aaron Donald, and Jared Goff. You know, like I said, he almost lost the game for you, but then again, he won the game for you too. So, shout out to those guys. Enjoy your moment, Rams. At least I got to witness a pretty decent ball game. So, congratulations.